July 4th, Friday. Reflection by Reverend Father Clifford Atta Anim. Matthew chapter 9, verses 9 through 13. Today's gospel episode of Matthew's call as Jesus' apostle reminds us of God's love and mercy for sinners and, challenges us to practice this same love and mercy in our relations with others. The call and the response. Jesus went to the tax collector's station to invite Matthew to become a disciple. Since tax collectors worked for a foreign power and extorted more tax money from the people than they owed, the Jewish people, especially the Pharisees, hated and despised the tax collectors as traitors, considered them public sinners, and ostracized them. But Jesus could see in Matthew a person who needed divine love and grace. That is why, while everyone hated Matthew, Jesus was ready to offer him undeserved love, mercy, and forgiveness. Hence, Matthew abandoned his lucrative job. Because for him, Christ's invitation to become Jesus' follower was a promise of salvation, fellowship, guidance, and protection. Scandalous, partying with sinners. It was altogether natural for Matthew to rejoice in his new calling by celebrating with his friends who were also outcasts. Jesus dining with all these outcasts in the house of a traitor scandalized the Pharisees, for whom ritual purity and table fellowship were important religious practices. Cleverly they asked not Jesus, but the young disciples, "Why does your master eat with tax collectors and sinners?" Jesus, coming to the rescue of the disciples, cut in and answered the question in terms of healing. Those who are well do not need a physician, the sick do. Then Jesus challenged the Pharisees, quoting Hosea, "Go and learn the meaning of the words, 'I desire mercy, not sacrifice.'" Finally, Jesus clarified, "I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners." After the Ascension, St. Matthew remained for over 10 years in Judea, writing his gospel there in about the year 44. Then he went to preach the faith in Egypt, and especially in Ethiopia, where he remained for 23 years. The relics of St. Matthew were for many years in the city of Nadaver in Ethiopia, where he suffered his martyrdom but were transferred to Salerno in the year 954. Life messages. First, Jesus calls you and me for a purpose. Jesus has called us through our baptism, forgiven us our sins, and welcomed us as members of the kingdom. In fact, Jesus calls us daily, through the Word and through the Church, to be disciples, and so to turn away from all the things that distract us and draw us away from God. Second, just as Matthew did, we too are expected to proclaim Christ through our lives by reaching out to the unwanted and the marginalized in society with Christ's love, mercy, and compassion.